gentlemen, welcome to the stream, Ringo TV Reactions. Make sure you hit that like button by double tapping the screen and give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Let's get into the content, guys. So they pretty much released the Epstein email. The House Democrats pretty much released emails to try to smear President-elect Trump due to the fact that Trump is accomplishing a lot of things for the American people right now, and his approval rating is going up. For whatever reason, all of a sudden, guys, they released some emails to smear his name. Let's look at the tapes.
Some breaking news at this hour. I did want to share this social media post from the Democrats saying that oversight Dems have received new emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that raise serious questions about Donald Trump and his knowledge of Epstein's horrific crimes. Read them for yourself. It's time to end this cover-up and release the files. This is some file footage of the late Jeffrey Epstein, and I did want to share some more information on this breaking news. Jeffrey Epstein writing in a 2011 email that President Trump had, quote, spent hours at Epstein's house with a victim of sex trafficking, and said in a separate message years later that President Trump knew about the girls, in quotation marks. That's according to communications released today. Now, the emails made public by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee add to the questions about President Trump's friendship with Epstein and about any knowledge that he may have had in what prosecutors call a years-long effort by Epstein to exploit underage girls. President Trump has consistently denied any knowledge of Epstein's alleged crimes and has said he ended their relationship years ago. This is also a post from the Associated Press saying that emails from Jeffrey Epstein released by Democrats say President Trump, quote, knew about the girls and spent time with a victim. These messages are part of a batch of 23,000 documents provided by Epstein's estate to the Oversight Committee. The release resurfaces a storyline that really has shadowed President Trump's presidency during the summer, when the FBI and the Justice Department announced they would not be releasing additional documents that investigators had spent weeks examining. In an April 2nd, 2011 email to Ghislaine Maxwell, an Epstein girlfriend now imprisoned for conspiring to engage in sex trafficking, Epstein wrote, quote, I want you to realize that that dog hasn't barked is Trump. Now, there is a redacted name included, and it said that redacted name spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there, end quote. Meanwhile, Maxwell replied that same day, quote, I have been thinking about that. The name in that email who is said to have spent time with President Trump was redacted, but House Democrats have identified that person as a, quote, victim. In a separate 2019 email to journalist Michael Wolff, who has written extensively about this, Epstein wrote of President Trump, quote, of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop, end quote. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt has accused the Democrats of having selectively leaked emails to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump, saying in a statement that the unnamed person referenced in the emails is one of the accusers who had also accused Britain's Prince Andrew and other influential men of sexually exploiting her as a teenager, and who died by suicide in April. Andrew had rejected those allegations and said that he did not recall meeting her. So we did want to share this information as the House Democrats on the Oversight Committee have presented and made public emails regarding Jeffrey Epstein writing about President Trump and alleging that he had spent hours at Epstein's house with a victim of sex trafficking. You have it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to the stream, everybody. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Double tap the screen to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Now, with all of the news that's going on, with all of the accomplishments Trump is bringing to pass, you have the government shutdown situation, made a deal to pretty much get things back rolling. Trump announced that they're going to be giving out, I believe, a $2,000 check or something like that to families. Now this. Do you see how the Democrats are, guys? Do you see how they're trying to smear his name? No evidence of anything. Let's just create something out of thin air. Let's just make up something to get the American people to question him once again. This is what we have in today's day that is keeping America divided. It's the constant nonsense of when progress is being made, the smear campaigns begins. And it doesn't make any sense. No sense whatsoever. Like, okay, where were these emails before? Why these emails weren't released before? Why now? And who's authorized to do this? Because we all know that the left controls a lot that's going on in the media. And their job is to smear Trump's name as much as they can, because this is what they've been doing for a long time. They've been trying to get everybody to hate Trump. They blamed him for the shutdown. They accused him of starving Americans. And a lot of these Americans that hate Trump, they now begging, please, please, let me get my EBT and my SNAP benefits. Please, please, I'm starving now. Like, which one is it? You hate Trump. Now you're happy that some emails is released. That doesn't prove anything. Where is this going? All right. Now, I'm not going to put the email on the screen. Somebody said, what progress? Obviously, you're not making any sense, because if you had a brain, first of all, you don't have a job. Because if you had a job, you would be making progress. See? You're just a Trump hater. I really believe that people that are in America that have this much hatred for a president need to leave America. Just leave America and see how it is overseas somewhere. I guarantee you your ASS will be back in America saying, please, could I come back? Please. You know what I mean? What progress? Everybody else is making progress but you. How is it that you don't know about what's going on? Because you're not paying attention to what's being done. You're so busy looking for a fault. Some of you folks that are with this Epstein files, like, you're thirsty for files because you're thirsty for dirt. You just want some dirt. Could we get the files on you? All of you men that want Epstein files, could we get the files of your secret gay affairs? Could we talk about those files? How about the adultery of some of you guys on your jobs? The ladies that you're messing around with, your wife don't know about? Could we get those files? What about those of you that are embezzling money from your company? Could we get those files? See, there's a lot of dirt that's on your name. You don't want us to talk about that. You want us to talk about imaginary files with Epstein to try to tie Epstein to Trump. I cannot stand when people do that type of stuff. Like, they try to tie you to somebody when you don't got no relationship with them. And they try to make it seem as if though you're involved in some sort of trafficking now. This is what they do all the time, guys. But anyway, double tap the screen, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, guys. Now, let's get into this thing here. So we have this particular news article that came out. A lot of people are talking about this. Give me a minute so I can close this out. Right? Let me see what we got. Yeah, let me go to this other page here and see what's going on. Epstein and emails released by Democrats says Trump knew about the girls. Now, what is the significance of saying Trump knew about the girls? Okay, hypothetically speaking, let's just say if that's true. Okay, what's next? I'm waiting for answers. What's next? Do anybody have any answers? Since you want blood, since you want files, hypothetically speaking, if they're saying Trump knew about some girls, what's next? Notice nobody can even speak. You don't notice this, guys? Like, okay, what's next? What do we want next? What does that prove? Does that prove guilt? Does that prove involvement? What does that prove? See, this is a failed smear campaign. Failed smear campaign. I know all about smear campaigns because they do that to me all the time. People are always smearing my name. Always trying to connect me to this, always trying to say I'm a part of that, always trying to say I'm affiliated with this person and I don't even know who this person is. And they try to do these things to try to tie my name in to make me look like I'm dirty. This is what they do all the time. So I'm asking the question, if this is true, what's next? Going to jail? Can't go to jail over something that people are throwing out there, number one. The Democrats threw these emails out there. Just goes to show how vindictive and wicked they are to actually try to smear this man's name. Think about what's going on here. With everything that's going on right now, where we're trying to get the economy back going, we're trying to get the government back, we're trying to get everything, situated, and now they throw this in there to derail everybody, to get everybody distracted. Now we're distracted again. Come on now. You said something's wrong with my brain? No, something's wrong with your brain. You're watching me. Think about that. You said something's wrong with my brain, but you're watching me. Let me help you out. You're not supposed to be watching me because something's wrong with your brain. If you believe something's wrong with my brain, what the hell are you watching me for? That's crazy. Let me see what we got. So, Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier and accused sex trafficker, wrote that President Donald Trump spent hours at my house with one of his victims and knew about the girls, according to emails House Democrats released November 12th. Now, think about this. Here's the thing you have to all think about. The Democrats have these emails, right? That means they've been holding this information, and now they decide to release now some bits and pieces. For what purpose? To smear Trump's name. To get the American people to look at him as he had some sort of involvement. First of all, it's saying that disgraced financier accused of sex trafficking wrote that President Donald Trump spent hours at my house. So this would be Epstein saying Trump spent hours at my house with one of his victims and knew about the girls. Why would Epstein be trying to tie Trump's name into his dirt to try to bring him down? That's like we robbed the bank, or, well, you robbed the bank, but because I know you and you got caught, you want to accuse me of being a part of what you're doing. And then what people do is they take images of Trump. Oh, Trump was at this party. He used to hang around Epstein. There's a lot of you that hang around people that are no good. A lot of you hang around people that turned out not to be good people, but you don't hang out with them no more. And what happens in life, man, a lot of times people will associate you with people that at one point in your life, maybe you went to a party or perhaps you hanged out with them or whatever the case is. Does that mean you're with them? I hanged out with a lot of people in the past. I've been around, I've been at parties here, there. A lot of those people are in prison. A lot of them people are murderers. A lot of the people got caught up in different crimes. but I was at parties where they were at. That doesn't mean that I do the same thing. And see, this is what's so dangerous about social media is all we got to do is just put out a story. Breaking news. The Epstein emails. Trump is guilty. Everybody go crazy. They were just crying about SNAP benefits. They were just crying about it. Everybody's waiting for a $2,000 check. I want my check. I want my check. Now everybody forgot about that. Now it's like, release the Epstein files. Okay, if they release the Epstein files, what does that do for you? Can't you see that you're being played as a pawn in all of this mess? What does Epstein files do for you and your bills and your family? What do it do for you? I'm telling you, man, people just love blood. People want to see blood. They want to see a lynching, something that's pleasing and gratifying for their flesh. That's what they want. You know? Let me see what else we got. So it says that the President Donald Trump spent hours at my house with one of the victims. He knew about the girls, according to emails House Democrats released November 12th. So the House Democrats released these emails even after Republicans and Democrats pretty much came to a deal. They decided to do this. You can't see a problem here. You can't see that they're upset that the Trump administration continually get W's and continually win. Trump is continually winning. And they're trying to throw more dirt out there to confuse the American people through media. And people are so dumb, they buy into it. Common sense got to tell you, why is this being released now? What is the significance of this? Why now? Yeah, they're messy, man. That's why when you see these liberals come over here and they start going crazy with their Trump hate, it's like they're just filled with hate, man. That's the best way I can put it. It's like they just want to see blood. They want to see a bloodbath. They're violent. It's really disgusting to see. What is the point of these emails? Who authorized this? It's to smear Trump's name, guys. So it says, the White House called the email release a smear. Trump attended parties and flew on Epstein's planes during the 90s, but Trump later, ousted Epstein from his club and forcefully denied knowing about the sex trafficking. Now, see, here's the problem. Trump may have went to these parties. It's just like with the Diddy parties. When the Diddy trial went down, did they release all the people that were there? When Diddy was on trial, did the courts release all the people that was attending these parties, all the big names? No, they didn't release nothing. They had access to it. Think of all the powerful white men that were at these Diddy parties. They never released those names. They have video evidence, everything. None of this came up. They tried to focus everything on Diddy alone. So just like people attended these Diddy parties, if you would have found out who else was at these Diddy parties, you would probably be disgusted in them. And because why? You'll connect them to Diddy. Even though they didn't do the things Diddy did, you'll just associate them with Diddy. So what we're doing now, well, not me, you, is because Trump may have flown on Epstein's planes or was at a party or whatever the case is, all the big shots go to the parties. But at the same time, you're trying to tie him in. Well, who else was at the Epstein parties? Who else was there? We're going to focus only on Trump? Who else was there? It's just like with the Diddy parties. Think about all the athletes, the celebrities, the politicians, whether they're Republican, Democrat. Think about who was at Diddy's parties. All the major Hollywood actors. Nobody's naming who they are. Because why? They don't want to associate themselves with Diddy. So who else hanged out with Epstein at that time? Everybody's just focused on Trump because why? He's the president. And they're trying to take him down. They don't want him to be president. They don't want him to be the chief. They don't want that. So they're focusing on being messy, being negative. Oh, Trump knew about the girls. Yeah, that's because Trump was doing it too. Now people start to add on to it. People start to add on their own opinions. And before you know it, all the blogs, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everybody's making videos spreading the lie. You see that? That's what's going on. So when we look at the article, it's very clear the White House called the emails a smear. Trump attended parties and flew on Epstein's planes during the 90s, but Trump later ousted Epstein from his club, meaning Trump cut ties with this man, which means, look, me and him ain't cool. I don't know why y'all keep trying to associate me with this man, and we ain't even cool. But see, when it comes to the general public, it's like, bro, I could disassociate myself with somebody. People will still try to connect me with the person. Oh yeah, they buddies. Yeah, you must have known. You had to know. Okay, so if we're gonna play that game, when Diddy had his freak-offs, all of these politicians and big shots that was there, how come nobody's talking about it? How come nobody's talking about all the people that were there? Because they're protecting their names. Because if it ever comes out, now they'll want to know, hey, Leonardo DiCaprio, why were you there? You know? Jamie Foxx, what's going on? See, nobody want to talk about who was there. Do you know how many athletes and celebrities been at Diddy's parties? Do you know how many celebrities and actresses and actors and politicians, and you never know who was there getting their freak off on? Okay, so that being said, Trump already denied any involvement. So why are we continually doing this smear campaign? This is why I don't like smear campaigns, because a lot of Americans love entertaining this type of stuff. They love to keep pushing it and pushing it. Even when a man deny any involvement, it's never enough. He's guilty. He's guilty of something. So the White House called the email release a smear. Trump attended parties, meaning, okay, he attended parties and flew on Epstein's planes during the 90s, but Trump later ousted Epstein from his club and forcefully denied knowing about the sex trafficking Epstein, died by taking his life in prison in 2019 while awaiting trial. The Democratic revelations, came as the House prepares to swear in a new lawmaker from Arizona. So it's interesting. They're swearing in a new lawmaker and decide to use this smear campaign to sacrifice Trump, to sacrifice his image in the wake of everything that's going on right now. That's what's going on. We have one of the best presidents that we ever had, and the American people hate him so much. It's crazy. Let's get some dirt. We need some dirt on Trump. Let's find something. Ooh, we got an email. So let me get this straight. The Democrats is more focused on an email, but when SNAP benefits was down for November and the elderly, the disabled were pretty much starving and going without, they didn't have no time to focus on the votes to reopen the government, but they got time to talk about emails. Y'all don't see a pattern here? They got time to get messy about emails, a time when we're supposed to be bringing Americans together, bringing the country back. Let's divide the country again. Let's create more drama. Let's create some more drama, guys. People just finished starving because of the Democrats. If you do your research, they didn't want to reopen the government. They didn't want to cast their votes and do what they had to do. Now they're being messy now. I tell you, man. You know what's sad about this? Americans don't even pay attention to what's going on in the news. So even though we talk about these things, you'll just name call me. You can say whatever you want about me. I don't care. You can say I'm pathetic. You can say I'm a traitor. You can say all this negative stuff. I don't know you. You don't know me. Half of you people that are this negative are liberals. And you're anti-American. You're anti-government, anti-peace. You don't love your neighbor. You never help the poor. And most likely, you just want to see blood. You're not trying to do the right thing. You're not trying to be a civilized human being. You're just full of hate. And that's one of the biggest problems with Americans in today's day. They're just full of hate. It's like the only thing you know how to do is just hate all day. Let me see what I got. Give me a minute. Let me get my computer. So guys, be sure to double tap the screen. Double tap the screen to like the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. So it says the Democratic revelations came at the House as the House prepares to swear in a new lawmaker from Arizona. Democrat Adilita, I don't know how the hell you pronounce that name. She is expected to provide the final signature needed to force a vote of legislation that would release all Justice Department records about the Epstein investigation. Do you see what the Democrats is focused on? Do you see what the Democrats is focused on? Watch this, guys. Now, keep in mind, while 42 million Americans was struggling during the snapdemic, right? While they were focusing on struggling, these people were out here starving, right? The Democrats pretty much was preparing to swear in a new lawmaker for Arizona. For what purpose? Right? For what purpose? She is expected to provide the final signature needed to force a vote on legislation that would release all Justice Department records about the Epstein investigation. So the Democrats is not concerned about the 42 million Americans that they were starving out. They're more concerned with getting this woman in so that they can release some records about the Epstein investigation. That's more important. When I tell you, man, this is sick. So you're voting to put someone in so they could release all Justice Department records about the Epstein investigation. That's more important than 42 million Americans starving. You can't see that the Democrats is more focused on attacking Trump. You can't see that this is a game. They're not working for the American people. They're trying their best to take down Trump because the Republicans controlling everything right now. Democrats have a small portion. So they're trying their best. If we could take down the president, we got him. That's their focus. Being messy. Is this person that they're voting in helping Americans overcome poverty? No. Is this helping your rent to be lowered? No. Is this helping gas prices to go down? No. The Democrats literally is preparing to swear in this new lawmaker not to make America great again. Not to put food on your table. No. so that this person can focus on releasing all Justice Department records about the Epstein investigation. That's crazy. This is crazy, man. Like what? All this attention on Epstein is crazy. And what's crazy is Epstein died by self-deletion. The man is dead. He gone. People still holding on to him because they want to use him to tie him to Trump. You can't see that? Man, oh man, man, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Epstein died by self-deletion in prison in 2019 while awaiting trial. So if he did, what's the point of investigating a dead man? Is he alive still? Because why would you want to still be investigating or release anything about an investigation of a man who is dead? Then maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's still alive and they just kind of put him away somewhere, like tuck him somewhere, protective custody, because they figure he's sharing information to try to take down Trump. One of them type of things. Because none of this makes sense. None of this stuff makes sense. Let's see what we got. White House call email release a smear. Rep. Robert Garcia of California, the top Democrat on the Oversight Committee, called the emails serious and disturbing. Well, of course. Of course you would say that, all right? We won't stop until we end this White House cover-up, Garcia said on social media. So let me get this straight. The Democrats are focused on, quote, we won't stop until we end this White House cover-up. Meanwhile, 42 million Americans go without food. We won't stop until we end this White House cover-up. That's more important than 42 million Americans going without their benefits. You tell me what's more important to America. You folks want files released. Release the files. Release the files. What is this doing for you? They destroyed Bill Cosby with fake news. They destroyed R. Kelly with fake news. They destroyed P. Diddy with no proof, right? He just got to go serve some time. Think about this. The entire P. Diddy trial, they didn't bring up nothing. This man really didn't do anything. Okay, he's a freaky deaky. He's weird. He have weird parties with Diddy oil. I get it, right? But what did he do? When have it ever been a crime to be a freak? Like, think about what I'm saying. When has it ever been a crime to be a freak, to have a party? How many of you ladies gave a man head? Okay, you had your own freak-offs. How many of you men went to the telly with a woman and you had a freak-off at the hotel? Okay, you had your private freak-offs. Was that a crime? No. When you have a lot of money, your parties are amplified. That's P. Diddy. He's weird. He have his own way. Okay. But look at all of these men and how they were taken down with smear campaigns, false witnesses. Cassie got $30 million. And even though Diddy settled with her, they still had her at the courtroom to testify. Shouldn't she have just taken her money and go away? Okay, Diddy said some bad things about Trump. It messed up his opportunity to get a pardon. That's why relationships is very important. If Diddy would have kept it G with Trump, Trump would have pardoned him. The reason why Trump didn't pardon Diddy is because Diddy had some bad words to say. You can't burn your bridges down, because then when you need them, you ain't gonna be able to bail yourself out of that situation. Because technically, Diddy shouldn't even be in prison right now. Technically, he shouldn't even be there. But they put him there to punish him for whatever reason. There's something that he was supposed to do, I guess, and he didn't do it. So they decided to pretty much attack him. Let me see. You said Diddy is too dark for a pardon. I don't think it's that. It's because he disrespected Trump. Remember, Trump pardoned other rappers. I forgot what the rapper name is. Some rapper that he was able to help out. So you're going to tell me that rapper's not dark too? So this is really about relationships. What Diddy had to say about Trump in a while back, I actually did a video about it. It was disrespecting Trump. So that's why it didn't happen for him. I think it was the NBA. I forgot which rapper it was. It was one of them rappers, and Trump pretty much helped his situation. I forgot who it was. It's like all them rappers are the same to me. You know what I mean? But let's get back to the content. Guys, double tap the screen to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already for the best commentary on YouTube. Also, hype the video. That helps with the algorithm. Okay, so now, let me go back to the top. It says, White House calls email release a smear. So Robert Garcia of California, the top Democrat. This is the top Democrat, guys. The top Democrat on the Oversight Committee called the emails serious and disturbing. He's gaslighting the viewers. He's gaslighting the people by saying serious and disturbing. Epstein is supposed to be dead, right? So if he dead, he gone. Why are we still talking about a dead man? Because they want to tie Epstein to Trump. That's all it is. And the Democrats want to destroy Trump by any means necessary. So it goes on and says, quote, we won't stop. Sounds like Diddy, right? I thought I told you that we won't stop. I told you that we won't stop. Okay, quote, we won't stop until we end this White House cover-up, Garcia said on social media November 12th. Release the files now. So his goal is release the files, release the files. That's why they released an email. Think about what they're doing. They're smearing Trump. And they got a woman who they're going to try to get to release all, let me go back to it. Democrat Adelita, that's her name is. She is expected to provide the final signature needed to force a vote on legislation that would release all Justice Department records about the Epstein investigation. Do you see what the Democrats are working diligently to do? They're not working to force votes and legislation on how to cut back taxes and lower food costs and rent and mortgage and these 30-year house prison loans. Because, you know, when you go out there to be a homeowner, you know that's one of the biggest scams in America, right? Being a homeowner is one of the biggest scams in America. I'm a homeowner. No, you're in prison. You don't own anything. Yes, I do. You're in a 30, 50-year mortgage loan to a bank. Then when you pay off your house, you still got to pay those property taxes. And if you don't pay those property taxes, they come take your house. You're not a homeowner. You're just renting it from the government. You're just renting it from the government. It's true. It's worse. It's so bad and dire. It's like a flex for an American to be like, I'm a homeowner. No, you're not. You're renting it from the government. So the Democrats are putting all their energy into releasing records of the Epstein investigation. They're not even focused on the American people. They're not even focused on making America great again. They're focused on being messy. What are the Democrats doing to benefit the American people? This is who you guys voted for? You're voting for people who are sitting back trying to smear the president while the president is sending your ASS a $2,000 check. He literally is working tirelessly around the world, doing so many different jobs, right? Trying to make America great again. And all you're doing is smearing and attacking this man? Bro. See, everybody's saying, what check? What check? None of these people are focusing on the news. Nobody's focusing on the tariffs. Nobody's focusing on what's going on. Nobody's watching none of the interviews with Trump. Nobody's looking at anything. The Americans are slow, bro. They're dark. They're not even paying attention. I can't teach everything in one segment, man. You got to educate yourself. So it goes on and it says, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt alleged that the unnamed victim in the emails is the late, Virginia Giuffre, I'm not sure, an Epstein victim. She said, repeatedly said, President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing. You see that? Caroline alleged that the unnamed victim basically said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing. Any wrongdoing, guys. He was not involved in any wrongdoing. But yet people want to still paint him as if though he did something wrong. Shout out to everybody joining in on the show. Let me see. Congress has to do it, not Trump. How do you know that? What? How do you not know that? I don't know what you're talking about. You need to go research all the information. I don't got time to educate everybody about everything. Trump is signing a paper of tariffs, profit check yearly because... Okay. Guys, as you come into the stream, be sure to double tap the screen, give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe, guys, if you're not subscribed already to the best reaction channel on YouTube, where we provide you with the best news coverage, commentary, and criticism to help you get through your day, giving you unbiased news, guys. This is unbiased news. The Democrat Party is trying their best to destroy Trump with this smear campaign. This is clearly a smear campaign. The top Democrat on the Oversight Committee basically is gaslighting the American people by saying this is serious and disturbing, as if Trump is currently doing something to women right now. Like Trump is doing something right now. Remember, Epstein's supposed to be dead. So why are we talking about a dead man? Unless Epstein is alive in some sort of protective care, none of this stuff makes sense. They're trying to destroy Trump. That's what they're trying to do. So Caroline says that the alleged victim made it clear that Donald Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing. She called the release of the emails part of bad faith effort to distract from Trump's accomplishments. And that's exactly what it is, guys. That's exactly what it's about. To distract the American people from Trump's accomplishments. I know all about smear campaigns, guys. I had this done to me. Put a 1 in the chat, guys, if you ever had a smear campaign done on you. Put a 1 in the chat. If you ever been a victim of a smear campaign where it seemed like everybody was in agreement to destroy you and false rumors, everybody's spreading about you. It's like people made stuff up about you. And it's like, you just got tired of defending yourself because it's like, what the heck? Everybody's coming against me? This is crazy. All kinds of lies, things you never was involved in, but everybody's out there putting it out, putting it out, putting it out. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Let me see. Ba-ba-da-ba. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. It happened to us all at one time or another. Yeah. Somebody said, what accomplished? Name one good thing Trump has done. I mean, just your question is dumb. I mean, if you have to name one thing that's good that Trump has done, you're a clown. I'm not even giving you no more response. It just goes to show the ignorance of people. It says, quote, Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media. Notice, liberal media. So they hate Trump. You know, it's like all of these media outlets, all of them, the liberal media. Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media. I actually have the email, but I'm not going to publish it on my platform for legality reasons, right? But I actually have the email. And I'm saying to myself, why would they put that out? Because they know the liberal media will begin to run with it, right? So it says, the Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump, Levitt said. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including the particular so-called victim that they claim. Trump kicked Epstein out his club when he found out that Epstein was doing dirt to one of his employees. These are all facts. But people still trying to connect Trump to Epstein to paint some messy narrative. Attorney General Pam Bundy has said she already released Epstein's records other than pornographic videos and documents naming victims in the case. The House bill would still face a vote in the Senate. It goes on and says, what do the emails say about Trump? Democrats on the House Oversight and Accountability Committee released several emails that mentioned Trump to increase pressure on the Justice Department to release additional records. That's what they're trying to do. Quote, I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump, Epstein wrote in one email on April 2nd, 2011. So obviously, Epstein was beefing with Trump once Trump booted him out his club. This is a case of a hurt man trying to hurt and drag another man into his sin. You know what I mean? It's similar to you were friends with somebody, you have a fallout with that person, you cut them off for whatever reason. Next minute, they start dragging your name, spreading dirt on you. And it's because why? They're upset. You kicked them out of your company. Happened to me already, guys, so I know what I'm talking about. So it says, quote, I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump, Epstein wrote in one email on April 2nd, 2011. The email continues after the name of an alleged victim of Epstein, redacted, quote, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, end quote. You know? So it goes on and says, another Epstein email, January 31st, 2019, said, of course, he knew about the girls as he asked, Ghislaine to stop it, end quote. Ghislaine Maxwell, an aide to Epstein, is serving a 20-year prison sentence for conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in sex acts. Democrats allowed Maxwell is getting preferential treatment in prison after speaking with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanchie. Okay, let's see what we got. Again, guys, double tap the screen to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Who is Jeffrey Epstein? Most Americans don't even know who Jeffrey Epstein is. They're just going along with the herd of other cattle that just seem to want blood. If you really ask most Americans, who is Jeffrey Epstein? They don't even know who he is. They really don't even know what he's about. They don't. If you really do your research, most Americans don't even know who he is. So, who is Jeffrey Epstein? Epstein, the late billionaire financier, sexually exploited and abused dozens of minor girls at his homes in New York and Palm Beach, Florida, according to the 2019 federal indictment. His case continues to draw attention because of the bold-faced names who attended his parties. Now, again, anybody could attend a party. People attended Diddy's party. Did we get the names of those people? Did they release the Diddy files? Y'all want the Epstein files. Did they release the Diddy files yet? No. It's so crazy how the chat just going wild. People calling me names. You don't notice that I'm reading? Like, I glance at the chat every now and then, and people just scrolling, making insults and just name calling. Like, I don't know. Maybe you get paid to do that type of stuff, but I would hope that you're actually paying attention to the things that we're talking about. Since you're going to watch me, it would make sense to pay attention so you can learn something. Because you're watching. Unless you just like to watch to insult all day, and that's how you get your rocks off. If that's how you get your rocks off every day, then hey, continue. Invite more people to come on over and watch. You're helping the platform to grow. So continue to troll, continue to name call, insults, all that stuff. Keep the ball rolling. Keep the views going so that we can continue to get this message out there. So congratulations to everybody that's wasting their time. It is what it is. To those of you that actually are here because you want to learn something, I'm very appreciative that you would even show up to listen. I'm trying to make sense of all of this stuff because according to what's going on, they're trying to tie Trump with Epstein because Trump attended a party or parties. Well, all of us attended parties. That doesn't make us involved. So it goes on and it says, these high profile, wait, where are we at? His case continued to draw attention because of the bold face names who attended his parties and have shown up in evidence collected during the investigation against him. These high-profile figures include Trump, former President Bill Clinton, and the former Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom. Okay, so if Clinton, right, is involved, right? If Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom is involved, how come nobody's talking about them? How come nobody's talking about them? I don't hear nobody talking about Prince Andrew. Nobody's talking about Clinton. We know Clinton, was getting head from Monica. We know that's true because he denied it. He was like, I ain't never had no sexual relations with that woman. We knew that was a lie. We knew that was a lie. Once a man say he didn't get no head, we know that's a lie. No man could resist getting head from a woman, no matter what the situation is. No man can resist that. A woman walk up to a man and be like, hey, how you doing? Man, like, yeah, I'm chilling. I want to give you some top, some head. You know I'm the president of the United States, right? I understand, Mr. President, but I want to do what I want to do. Okay, now. He gonna let it go. He gonna do what he got to do. How could a brother deny head? Most of you guys on the 9 to 5, I'm sure you got some women on the job that top you off every now and then. How could you deny some top? That's like a universal thing that go on in the workplace. And when Clinton denied it, we knew he was lying. So why nobody's talking about Clinton when it comes to the Epstein files? Why nobody's talking about Clinton? Why nobody's talking about Prince Andrew? Nobody's talking about this. Everybody's focused on Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. That's it. It's crazy because they hate Trump. Trump is the one they want to take down. They don't care about Clinton. They don't care about no Prince Andrew. They care about Trump. They want to tie his name because he's the president. You know? He ain't no Democrat. So they looking at him like, yeah, we got to get him, the big fish. Right? So it goes on, guys, and it says, 6 years after Epstein's death, hundreds of women who call themselves survivor sisters are applying public pressure to identify Epstein associates they allege assaulted them or participated in his trafficking ring. Now, again, look at the case with P. Diddy. What they tried to do with him. They tried to get Diddy on sex trafficking, but it didn't work. They tried to get Diddy on the same stuff. This is the same playbook they do with all the big shots. They try to get you on some old sex trafficking. These guys are billionaires. Women naturally and freely come to these men. But it's always got to be some underage person. Always. They always do that. Oh, yeah, they were underage. Oh, these are just dirty, screegee men. Disgusting billionaires who just want to take advantage of women. They always do this. Bill Cosby. You had women, 95-year-old women with crutches and, in wheelchairs, rolling into court talking about, yeah, Bill Cosby drugged me when I was 17. Man, get the heck out of here, woman. You're about to die. You coming in this court talking about this mess? You're supposed to be getting your life right with Jesus Christ. You 92 years old, damn near don't got no teeth, talking about Bill Cosby put a drug in your drink. And she got Alzheimer's. Are you kidding me? This don't make no sense. You got like 35, 50 white women trying to throw Bill Cosby under the bus. You had women trying to do this to Russell Simmons. You had women coming out of the woodwork to crucify R. Kelly. It's the same playbook. They did it to Diddy. It failed. They tried to get Diddy on sex trafficking, all sorts of crimes, man. And it failed. Now look what they're doing to Trump. They say 6 years after Epstein's death, hundreds of women who call themselves survivor sisters, they're not no survivor sisters, they're just trying to make money, are applying pressure to identify Epstein's associates. So why are we talking about Trump only? Why we're only talking about Trump? So hold up, Trump was the only alleged associate of Epstein? Because he wasn't. He distanced himself from that man once he realized that he a weirdo and a creep. But these women who are money hungry and old are applying pressure to identify Epstein's associates. Epstein is dead and they still not satisfied. They want Epstein's associates they allege assaulted them. So now Epstein is dead. They no longer care about Epstein. He dead. They can't get nothing from him. He dead. But they could get something from these other people they want to allege assaulted them in any sort of way. Nobody's talking about Prince Andrew. Nobody's talking about Clinton. Nobody's talking about none of these people. Let's focus on Trump all day. They want to apply pressure towards identify Epstein's associates they allege assaulted them or participated in his trafficking ring. Right? This is all alleged because you don't got proof of this, right? In the United Kingdom, King Charles III stripped the title and honors from his younger brother, Prince Andrew, because of his connection to Epstein. That's crazy. That's crazy. Meaning there's no proof. There's nothing that says, oh, you did this, you did that, or whatever the case is, whether it's here nor there. My point is, in the world we live in, people normally strip people of their honors and their credentials just because they're in the public light. In other words, when Diddy, I believe Diddy had I think Diddy had the key to the city in New York, and it was stripped from him too by the mayor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Diddy had the key to the city, something along them lines, and it was stripped. It was stripped from. I think it was Diddy, right? Yeah, it was Diddy. I think it was Diddy. The mayor presented him with the keys to the city. That's like a big honor, right? They stripped it from him once everything went down. Once the investigation started going down. Listen, before Diddy was even pronounced guilty of anything, they already stripped him of all of these things. This is what they do when they smear your name. So King Charles III stripped the title and honors from his younger brother, Prince Andrew, because of his connection to Epstein. There was no connection. It's just that his name was being named in the public, and that brings negativity to the family. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has denied of sexual abuse in connection with Epstein. So he denied these things, but still he was punished. That's how crazy the world works, right? So that was pretty much that on that article. Let me see what's going on. So again, this was the news brief. Let me play the tapes, guys. Let me go back to this. Give me a minute. Okay, let's go here.
Hour. I did want to share this social media post from the Democrats saying that oversight Dems have received new emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that raise serious. Some breaking news at this hour. I did want to share this social media post from the Democrats saying that oversight Dems have received new emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that raise serious questions about Donald Trump and his knowledge of Epstein's horrific crimes. Read them for yourself. It's time to end this cover-up and release the files. This is some file footage of the late Jeffrey Epstein, and I did want to share some more information on this breaking news. Jeffrey Epstein writing in a 2011 email that President Trump had, quote, spent hours at Epstein's house with a victim of sex trafficking, and said in a separate message years later that President Trump knew about the girls, in quotation marks. That's according to communications released today. Now, the emails made public by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee add to the questions about President Trump's friendship with Epstein and about any knowledge that he may have had in what prosecutors call a years-long effort by Epstein to exploit underage girls. President Trump has consistently denied any knowledge of Epstein's alleged crimes and has said he ended their...
That's exactly what it means when you really think about it. Let me respond to this comment. Somebody said, release the files mean only for Trump on them and throw the rest out. Screw the victims. Am I right? That's exactly what it means. I'm glad you said that. Let's park the car right here. When people say release the files, they're not concerned about everybody that's involved. They're only concerned about Trump. In other words, all the other perpetrators and predators and PDFs files and all this other mess, forget them. Let's look for the files that only include Trump so we can release that. So they don't really care about the victims. It was never about the victims. Guys, when it comes to any of these cases, right, nobody cares about the victims. It's about taking down a political figure. That's what it's always been about. When they went after Cosby, do you really think it was about victims? How come none of those ladies reported Cosby when they were younger? How come none of those ladies reported Cosby when everything went down? Them ladies was damn near 80 and 90 years old. Come on now. They were damn near dying already. Same thing with R. Kelly. Same thing with Diddy. Some of y'all talking about, oh, they got evidence and proof because Diddy beat up Cassie. First of all, the Cassie situation with the hallway in the hotel, whatever, that wasn't even a beating. Let's just be real. Chris Brown beat up Rihanna worse than that Diddy video. Put a 1 in the chat if Chris Brown beat up Rihanna was worse than Cassie. It was worse. All Diddy did in the hallway is gave her some dust kicks, and he had no shoes on. You can't kick someone with your feet with no shoes on and it hurt them. Nope. Those are some dusting up kicks. This wasn't that, and all he did is drag her. He didn't break her jaw. Chris Brown busted up Rihanna's face. And guess what? He's accepted. Y'all accept him back. And don't get me wrong. Chris Brown is talented. Got to give it up. Talented brother. Good singer, dancer, all that stuff. Dope. But he beat Rihanna ASS. And she forgave him. It is what it is. But let's not try to make Diddy out to be like he beat up Cassie. He didn't. Not in that hallway. And we don't even know the full context of what went down. What went down that caused Cassie to leave the room with those bags? For all you know, she had something that belonged to Diddy. She probably had something that belonged to that man. And he's like, yo, you ain't gonna just be walking out with my stuff. You bugging, you know? But from the outside, we look at it like, oh, he beating her up, this and that. If you go back to the Cassie files, how many of you, with a show of a 1, seen the Cassie files, the emails that was released? What did Cassie say? She said she loved taking D. She loved the freak-offs. She loved when men are piping her down. In the emails, Cassie said she liked when her throat is filled with meat. In the emails. So she was a participant in this. She was no victim. If you go back to the Cassie files, Cassie admitted that she loved the freak-offs. She was setting up the freak-offs. She would literally go out there and get male strippers just so they could come to the house. Come on now. And she received $30 million compensation. But yet the courts still brought her in to testify against Diddy. Make that make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. She made $30 million. You think Cassie care about anybody else? No, she don't. The very man who ended up marrying her, getting with her, that guy is supposed to be one of Diddy's alleged trainers. Why would his trainer end up getting with his former ex-girlfriend? Because he knew about Cassie's head game. The trainer knew that Cassie was a freak. He's like, yo, I got to get a piece of that myself. Because he always wanted to smash Cassie. He always wanted to lay pipe on her. You know? And that's why he got with her and put babies in her. It's crazy, man. But yeah, listen, the game is rigged, guys. The game is rigged. Let me go back to the news brief. Let's go.
Relationship years ago. This is also a post from the Associated Press saying that emails from Jeffrey Epstein released by Democrats say President Trump, quote, knew about the girls and spent time with a victim. These messages are part of a batch of 23,000 documents provided by Epstein's estate to the Oversight Committee. The release resurfaces a storyline that really has shadowed a president.
To the moderators, if you see anybody coming in saying free Palestine or any of that stuff, just block them, please. I don't got no time for all that.
President Trump's presidency during the summer when the FBI and the Justice Department announced they would not be releasing additional documents that investigators had spent weeks examining. In an April 2nd, 2011 email to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Cassie don't deserve no payout. You bugging, fam. What do you mean Cassie deserve her payout? Cassie was involved in the mess that Diddy was doing. What are you talking about? So this is the problem with women. You ladies, man, you'll side with a woman just because she's a woman, when clearly the emails prove that she was involved in all of this nasty mess that was going on. Cassie was a damn 304 the whole time. Everybody was passing Cassie around in the industry. Cassie was not no victim, guys. We all been lied to. I covered the entire Diddy trial, Diddy case. I've made multiple videos about this, bringing out all the evidence on Cassie. Cassie was no victim. She was a willing participant. She loved taking D. She said she liked to have her tonsils twerk. That's right. She loved when meat was in her throat to make her tonsils dance. Her tonsils would be twerking like this. That's how crazy it was, you know? And yet you hear talking about she needed to get her pay. Man, I tell you, man, there's no accountability with women when it comes to anything they do, guys. None.
An Epstein girlfriend now imprisoned for conspiring to engage in sex trafficking. Epstein wrote, quote, "I want you to realize that dog hasn't barked is Trump." Now, there is a redacted name included, and it said that redacted name spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there.
Yeah, people are asleep. You know what I mean? You're right. People is sleep. Yeah, they sleep, man. It's like no matter how much you talk about these issues, they just continue going on and on and on. Everybody want Epstein files. They don't even want to hear about Trump. They don't care about nothing else. They don't care about what's going on in the world, man. That's why I'm saying the internet is sick. It's a sick place where all you gotta do is just put out false information and the herd will just start running wild with it, man. That's how crazy things is in the world.
End quote. Meanwhile, Maxwell replied that same day, quote, "I have been thinking about that." The name in that email who is said to have spent time with President.
Look, guys, when it comes to Diddy, I was one of the people that said Diddy should burn in prison. They need to take him down. I was one of those guys that was making videos. I was anti-Diddy the whole time. And it's really because of social media. Social media made me make content thinking Diddy was just this negative person. I had to do my own independent, unbiased research about the Diddy case. And I put aside any bias, any sort of criticism that I may have that's one-sided. I said, you know what? Let me look at the Diddy case for real. You know what I mean? Not just based off of news that is being put out by propaganda media or some TMZ page, because all these sites are all propaganda pages. I actually looked at the evidence and I concluded that Diddy was pretty much set up. Diddy might be a guy that had some bad business practices. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Diddy's business practices on how he did 112, how he did Biggie Smalls, how he did all of these people, Craig Mack, you name it. He ripped off all of those artists financially. And again, the responsibility goes back on the artists of reading the fine prints of their record contracts. But when it comes to the freak-offs and everything else, Diddy has every right to have freak-offs. There's no law against having a freak-off. Did he do anything to Cassie that is wrong? The only thing that we've seen was the video in the hotel. Other than that, there's really nothing else that he did to her. Once we looked at the Cassie files, Cassie was a willing participant. Go find the Cassie files. You folks want Epstein files so bad. Did you watch the Cassie files? Did you go check out the emails, the text messages of Cassie and Diddy communicating back and forth? If you listen to that, Diddy would be out and about by himself chilling. Cassie would write him to say, hey, when we gonna do the next freak off? What? She's initiating this stuff. If you ask me, Diddy learned about freak offs from Cassie. It wasn't Diddy's idea, you know? You said nobody cared. Yeah, nobody cares about Diddy now. But when the trial was going on, everybody wanted Diddy to burn. That's how sick people are, you know? Somebody says, how you gonna stick up for Diddy? You know what's so crazy about these people? How you gonna stick up for Diddy? First of all, Diddy don't belong in prison right now because based on the evidence, he didn't do anything wrong. He was supposed to be acquitted. The reason why Diddy's spending time, if you actually do your independent research, Cassie's attorney wrote the judge and said, don't let him out. Do the research. Cassie was still pushing for Diddy to stay behind bars. And they said because he could be a risk of retaliating against Cassie because of her testifying against him in court. That's why he was never released. I mean, he was going to be sentenced. Everybody knew he was going to do about 2 to 5 years. We already knew that already. We anticipated that, right? We really thought he was going to walk and probably get some probation or whatever the case is, because they didn't have nothing on the man. Like I said, I'm not saying that Diddy's a great guy. At the same time, I'm not going to sit here and hang a man on a tree because you don't like him. You know what I mean? I'm not a part of that club. Like I said, I made videos in the beginning saying that Diddy should burn in prison. They need to take him down. That's because I was following the propaganda news. I had to go do my own independent study of the case with Diddy and really look at it from an unbiased, non-one-sided position. And as I did that, I had to take away all of my thoughts and criticisms about Diddy and look at the case. And I ain't find that. I didn't find anything that warranted that man going down. They wanted to get him on RICO charges. What? Where'd that come from? That didn't make sense, right? None of it made sense. The whole case was one big public show. So nobody's here defending Diddy. We're focusing on defending the truth, which is something that you should be concerned with, is the truth, rather than just wanting to see everybody fall all the time. And that's the problem with black folk. Black folk love to see other black folk fall. We love that. We enjoy it, especially when a person is rich. We want to see them suffer in prison. And I don't know why, but this is how it always been with the black community. We hate seeing other blacks successful. We want to see them down so that we can feel better about our own misery. That's just the way it goes. Let's go.
President Trump was redacted, but House Democrats have identified that person as a, quote, victim. In a separate 2019 email to journalist Michael Wolff, who has written extensively about this, Epstein wrote of President Trump, quote, of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop, end quote. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt has accused the Democrats of having selectively leaked emails to create a fake narrative.
Think about it, guys. Somebody in the chat says, I can't wait until you. So that person who said that, Wayne, basically Wayne is saying, I can't wait until you fall too. That's exactly what I mean, guys. In the world we live in, we live in a world, guys, where people want to see you fall. They enjoy stuff like that. Just seeing you homeless, lose everything you got, just to hear bad news about you. That's why I'm always motivated to work, motivated to grind and be successful, because I know there's a lot of people that's banking on me to fall. They're banking on me to die. They want to see me homeless. They want to see my family suffer. This should be your motivation to continue to grow, grind, and excel in life, so you could get those people angry because every time they see you year after year surviving, one of the main things people hate is your survival. In a world where we're paying bills and it's so much financial issues, health issues, and people are able to see you survive, that's what they really hate about you. It's not so much, guys, your success in terms of finances. It's your ability to survive. They're watching you survive, and they're trying to figure out, how are you able to maintain that lifestyle? How are you able to survive year after year? How are you able to pay your bills year after year? How are you making money? And they're comparing themselves to you, where they got to get up in the morning and struggle to make money, whereas they just see you relaxing. At least in their mind, they think you're just relaxing all day. They're jealous of your ability to survive, guys. That's what it's really about.
Narrative to smear President Trump, saying in a statement that the unnamed person referenced in the emails is one of the accusers who had also accused Britain's Prince Andrew and other influential men of sexually exploiting her as a teenager, and who died by suicide in April. Andrew had rejected those allegations and said that he did not recall meeting her.
Think about this, guys. Somebody in the chat says, now you change your platform speech. Those are called monitoring spirits. When you see somebody say stuff like, and these people that say these things, they're not supporters of me. They never support financially. These people never hit the like button. They didn't even subscribe to the channel. They don't care for nothing I do. What they do is they monitor everything that I do, and they assume this, they assume that. They don't know me from Adam. They don't know what I do, but they're waiting for me to fall. This is what they do, guys. They hate my success. They hate the growth. You know what I'm saying? The platform just keep growing and growing and growing, and they're sitting there like, how is it still growing? You're not supposed to be growing. And they're trying to figure out what the heck am I doing? So when they say stuff like, now you change your platform speech, they're mad that I'm growing and that I'm making content that's reaching new audiences. They're mad. And this is what I've always taught you guys. People are jealous.
So we did want to share this information as the House Democrats on the Oversight Committee have presented and made public emails regarding Jeffrey Epstein, writing about President Trump and alleging that he had spent hours at Epstein's house with a victim of sex trafficking. We do have a number of other stories that we do want to get to.
Okay, so let's get that off the screen, guys. Let me see. Let me close this. Okay, let's see what we got here. It's a different news report here. I don't really need this, so I could close this page. Wait, hold on. That was just a news brief. Okay, so I could close that page. Let's see. I read this. I think I read this. No, I don't think I did. Let me see this. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah. So we're continuing on with discussion, guys. Epstein email released by Democrats say Trump knew about the girls and spent time with a victim. Now, just wording it like that can be very deceptive because it's like you're saying that Trump spent time with a victim. That implies like something sinister was going on with him and a victim. Like, that's kind of crazy, guys. But let me see what we got. So double tap the screen, guys. Double tap to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. So let's see. Washington Associated Press. Disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein wrote in a 2011 email that Donald Trump had spent hours at Epstein's house with a victim of sex trafficking, and said in a separate message years later that Trump knew about the girls, according to communications released Wednesday. The emails made public by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee add to the questions about Trump's friendship with Epstein. Now, keep in mind, Trump denied all these allegations. He separated himself from Epstein a long time ago, but for whatever reason, the left is trying their best to tie Trump to Epstein to try to crucify him and bring him down, especially during a time where Trump is making a lot of power moves for the American people. So it goes on and it says, add to the questions about Trump's friendship with Epstein and about any knowledge he may have had in what prosecutors call a years-long effort by Epstein to exploit underage girls. The Republican president has consistently denied any knowledge, of Epstein's alleged crimes, and has said he ended their relationship years ago. And see, this is the problem I have with most people that want to see blood. If Trump ended his relationship with Epstein years ago, and people are still trying to tie him in with it, we got to let this stuff go. We can't keep dragging a dead horse. Like, it doesn't make sense. Epstein is dead. He's gone. So whatever he did in the past is dead. What are we trying to do? Put everything Epstein did on Trump? In other words, let's put Trump in prison for all the crimes of Epstein. That makes sense? People are crazy. People are really sick nowadays, man. That's why I try to be by myself. That's why I don't want no friends. This is why I try my best to distance myself from people, because when you're around people, they associate you with them and anything they do, and they try to crucify you with them. It says the messages are part of a batch of 23,000 documents provided by Epstein's estate to the Oversight Committee. The release resurfaces a storyline that had shadowed Trump's presidency during the summer when the FBI and the Justice Department abruptly announced that they would not be releasing additional documents that investigators had spent weeks examining, disappointing conspiracy theorists online, sleuths, and who had expected to see these new revelations. So people been thirsty for these documents for years. In an April 2nd, 2011 email to Maxwell, an Epstein girlfriend now in prison for conspiring to engage in sex trafficking, Epstein wrote, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted name, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." So they're trying to tie Trump in with all of this madness. That's what they're trying to do, right? Somebody said, what? The little girl's still alive. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody's talking about little girls. See, this is the thing, guys. You have these situations that happens years ago. People still making people think like there's some little girl somewhere, some victim somewhere. Like, y'all got to stop being messy like this. I'm beginning to think a lot of people that are so invested into this type of stuff are pedophiles or whatever the case is, because it's like, what is your obsession with this thing? Like, what do you get? Okay, you don't like Epstein, but now you want Trump to be punished for somebody that he's not even friends with. The man is dead. Epstein is dead, but you're trying to punish Trump for what Epstein allegedly did in the past. Now, I'm not here to defend no Epstein. I don't follow him. I don't know nothing about what he do. But if he had any involvement with kids or young women or exploiting ladies, he's dead. Like, that's like if you're talking about a killer who killed children 20 years ago and we still talking about this. It makes no sense, right? So let's see what we got. Double tap the screen, guys. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Maxwell replied the same day, "I have been thinking about that. The name of the person said to have spent time with Trump was blacked out of the email. I have the email, but I can't publish it for legality reasons. I don't want that on my platform." It says, not Trump, excuse me. The House Democrats identified the person as a victim. In a separate 2019 email to journalist Michael Wolff, perfect name, Michael Wolff, who has written extensively about Trump, Epstein wrote of Trump, "Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop," end quote. White House spokeswoman, Caroline Leavitt, accused the Democrats of having selectively leaked emails to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. She said in a statement that the unnamed person referenced in the emails is Virginia Giuffre, who had accused Britain's Prince Andrew and other influential men of sexually exploiting her as a teenager, and who died by self-deletion in April. Andrew has rejected the accuser's allegations and said he didn't recall meeting her, but yet he was punished by the prince, I believe the third. So it goes on and it says, Leavitt said in a statement that Giuffre, or whatever that name is, had repeatedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and could have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions, which makes no sense. Like saying, that's like me meeting you and you're like, I could have been friendlier. Like, I don't have to do anything to you. I don't know you. So saying somebody could have been friendlier is kind of crazy and entitled, if you ask me. Sounds like Karen behavior. So it goes on and says, the facts remain that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including the very same person, the statement said. These stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract President Trump's historic accomplishments, and any American with common sense sees right through this hoax. Clear distractions from the government opening back up again. And that's exactly what it is, guys. When you really put it together, government opening back up again, now we have this distraction. I'm telling you, man, it's just nonstop bullish every single day when it comes to this political stuff. It's just a nightmare every damn day. So it says, what is this person? I don't even know if I could do this. Let me see. I'm trying to get the proper pronunciation of this name. Let me see. Let me do this real quick, guys. Double tap the screen, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Let me let my audio thing pronounce this name.
Jufrey.
Jufrey? Okay. I guess that's why you say the name, I guess. Let's try that one more time. See what this thing do.
Jufrey.
Okay. Jufrey. I guess that's how you pronounce the name. Okay, Jufrey came forward publicly after an initial investigation ended in an 18-month Florida jail term for Epstein, who made a secret deal to avoid federal prosecution by pleading guilty instead of relatively minor state-level charges of soliciting prostitution. He was released in 2019. It goes on in, where we at? In subsequent lawsuits, Jufrey said she was a teenager spa attendant at Mar-Lago Trump's Palm Beach, Florida club when she was approached in 2000 by Maxwell. Epstein took his own life in a New York jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal charges. Lawyers for Maxwell, a British, have argued that she never should have been tried or convicted for her role in luring teenage girls into sexually abused by Epstein. She is serving a 20-year prison term, though she was moved from a lower security federal prison in Florida to a minimum security prison camp in Texas after she was interviewed in July by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanchard. Okay. The comments that be under these articles, man, it's like people just be looking for blood. Everybody's like, release the files, put them all in jail. I'm like, man, y'all crazy. So, guys, that's pretty much I'm going to say on that. That breaking news. If anything else come up later, pretty much we're going to probably have a public statement from President Trump. Most likely later on, he's going to probably give a release of a statement. Perhaps he already did on his websites and stuff. But this is nothing more than a smear campaign, guys. I don't think it's nothing to be concerned with. It's just another attempt of the left trying to gaslight viewers, put out a smear campaign, negative narratives to distract us from all the things that Trump is doing right now. That's what this pretty much is going on. So let me see. Yeah, they're losing their minds. The left is losing their minds. They're doing too much right now. It's so obvious. It's like anybody can see that. Let me see. Bro thinks he broke the internet. No, I don't think that. That's what you're thinking. I only have 400 people watching. All right, I'm just doing my part to make America great again. Obviously, you're monitoring me so much. It's just crazy. Let me see. New Breed will be talking about this later on, or he's already on right now talking about this because he hates Trump. So he's definitely going to be talking. He will definitely be talking about this later on. Because anytime I do a video, he does one. So if he haven't already done one already, he'll be going live after me. And then you'll see him come on and he'll put in the title, Breaking Breaking Epstein Files Released. He'll do a little clickbait in there to make you think the Epstein Files was released when it really wasn't. These are just the Democrats releasing some emails. That's it. And to be honest, none of this stuff incriminates Trump. None of it. It's like they're just wasting their time. Trump already denied all of this stuff. So, guys, you have a blessed day. Thanks for tuning in. Double tap the screen, guys, to subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up, right? Make sure you hype the video, guys. Leave some comments, guys. You know, when the video's done, come into the comments section, say hello. Let us know that you subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think about this stream. Was it helpful? Was it entertaining? Did you gain something from it? Do you enjoy the commentary? Did it help you get through your work day? Whatever the case is. And, you know, we really appreciate you stopping by. You know, shout out to the trolls for coming by, expressing their hate, trolling as usual. You guys do an excellent job trolling, insulting me all day, calling me a raccoon, Sambo, sellout, all of those wonderful names. You know, you guys are wonderful. We love to have you when you stop by. Other than that, you know, shout out to everybody in the 9 to 5 grind. We'll catch you later on in the next stream, guys. So y'all take care. Peace and blessings to the mods. Shout out to Forever Studios for the support on the Cash App. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. And shout out to all the moderators that are at work taking care of business. And it is what it is, guys. So that being said, I'm going to get up on out of here. And y'all have a blessed day. We'll be back later on with more news, guys. You stay care. We're out. Peace.